In the US, porn generates $13 billion each year, $3 billion from the internet alone. Internationally, that figure reaches a staggering $97 billion. That's more revenue than the NFL, NBA, and MLB combined. It's estimated 1 in 5 smartphone searches are for porn, and each second, 28,000 people are watching it online.
Just based on the couples that I've seen through the years, at least 50% of the couples that are coming forward have some type of struggle with either pornography or internet affairs or some type of sexual issue.
It's clearly a problem. People have lost careers, family, and their lives to this industry.
The staggering size of the pornography industry, its influence upon the media and the acceleration of technology, paired with the accessibility, anonymity and affordability of porn, all contribute to its increasing impact. A wave of porn plague sweeps throughout the world, affecting people from all walks of life, creating havoc to almost everyone who sees it, with over 75 million porn addicts worldwide and growing fast. It has also reached the Muslim world. Porn addiction has destroyed families and societies. Not only is porn addiction a health issue, new research shows that porn has a devastating effect on the brain. Shocking statistics show how a whole new society of problems has caused this growing world epidemic that has been blamed for high rates of divorce, child molestation, increase of rape cases and abuse against women and children. Big business. In 2006, the sex-related entertainment business estimated revenues were just under $13 billion in the US, according to the president of the Adult Video News Media Network. At that time, US porn revenue exceeded the combined revenues of ABC, CBS and NBC. In 2007, global porn revenues were estimated at $20 billion, with $10 billion in the US alone. From 2001 to 2007, internet porn went from a $1 billion a year industry to a $3 billion a year industry in the US. It is estimated both global and US porn revenues have been reduced by 50% between 2007 and 2011 due to the amount of free pornography available online. Porn and the World Wide Web. Every second, $3,075.64 is spent on pornography. Every second, 28,258 people are viewing pornography. Every 39 minutes, a new pornographic video is created in the United States. 35% of all internet downloads are pornographic. 42.7% of the internet users view pornography. 30% of porn addicts are women and 70% are men. 1.5 billion pornographic downloads per month. Over 420 million pornographic pages. Over 13,000 porn movies produced every year, 4.2 million pornographic websites, 68 million daily pornographic search engine requests are related to pornography, 72 million worldwide internet users visit adult sites per month. In the US, internet porn pulls in $2.84 billion a year. The entire worldwide industry is worth $4.9 billion. In the US alone, 40 million Americans are regular visitors to porn sites. Social scientists, clinical psychologists and biologists have begun to clarify some of the social and psychological effects, and neurologists are beginning to delineate the biological mechanisms through which pornography produces its powerful negative effects.
Scientists are just now, over the last decade, beginning to understand what pornography really does, how it affects our brains, and psychologists are understanding how it affects our behaviors, and sociologists, our society. And so we're just beginning to understand that it can be just as addictive as drugs, as hard drugs. And we'll explain how, because I know that there's some skeptical eyes out there kind of thinking, wait a second, drugs? Really? I don't sniff it, I don't inhale it, I don't inject it. How is pornography like a drug, guys? The largest group of internet porn users is youth, ages 12 to 17. Do you know what the average age of exposure is for pornography? 11 years old. 11! And 9 out of 10 youth ages 8 to 16 have seen it. So we know what it is. We know what it is. We're not here to define it. Get this. Every second, now, 30,000 people are viewing online pornography. And what was the largest group of internet porn users? 12 to 17. So you see how a lot of those are there. And girls, watching this right now, listen up. A lot of you tune out for topics like this. You can think, okay, it's a guy's issue. It's not my issue. Recent statistics show that 30% of addicts are women. That number has skyrocketed over the last decade, and it's growing. So current research is showing that pornography is a drug. and that it can lead to addiction. But some of you are looking out there going like, well, how? It doesn't make any sense. How? Again, I don't sniff it, I don't smoke it. Well, how? Let me show you. Pornography goes in through the eyes, in through the iris, and triggers a release of chemicals in your brain. Chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, oxytocin. Now this is a science class, but you may have heard of some of those. Now these are natural chemicals that your body produces. These chemicals are needed. When you do drugs, hard drugs, or look at pornographic material, your brain is overloaded with these chemicals. After you keep looking at porn, your brain gets used to those high amounts and builds up a tolerance. Those same images that once gave you a rush don't have the same effect anymore. In order to get that same rush, it not only takes more of it, but it also takes a more hardcore version of it. Your brain becomes dependent on that rush of chemicals and literally rewires itself to think that that's normal. And so you cannot function without it.
An addiction, online pornography.
So 12 to 13, all the way up to probably 14, it was kind of there, uninterrupted. I became almost numb to it.
Meaning what?
It became such a part of my pretty much daily routine.
It was automatic.
It was automatic, yeah, exactly.
Nathan is far from alone. There is still little research on just how many U.S. kids are addicted to online pornography, but one study reports exposure can begin at a very young age, for some as young as 8 years old.
I was first introduced to pornography when I was in 3rd grade. I had a friend named Spencer at school who told me about a website.
The first time I looked at pornography, I think, was either in 5th or 6th grade. I was over at a buddy's house, and a bunch of us were all just hanging out, and decided to get on the computer, and didn't really know what was going on, but all of a sudden, we're just looking on the internet. Next thing I know, he's going on a website and just started looking at porn.
I didn't really think anything was wrong with it. I mean, I remember watching girls on MTV who were mostly naked, so why couldn't I just look at one that was all the way naked? That I didn't really see a problem with that, just that I knew they couldn't put totally naked girls on TV. So I guess that kind of snowballed for a while, and I started looking at it by myself on the internet and things like that.
I'd have buddies over, we'd just be goofing around and turn it on. All just hanging out, playing video games, and kind of bored, stop playing video games, and oh, well, let's look at this, change the channel, and you're watching that, and it's just kind of like a joke.
At a Minneapolis private school are doubling down, saying they fully support a student field trip to an adult sex store.
But that is not sitting well with one parent who pulled his kids from that school and says this is a criminal matter. Fox 9's Jonathan Cho live in Minneapolis now with the latest on these developments. Jonathan?
Yeah, Amy, after pulling his 3 children from the school last week, this dad filed a complaint with Minneapolis police today, accusing some of the school leaders of exposing minors to pornographic material. And he's now considering his legal options.
Well, it's no secret that sex sells when it comes to advertising, but how far is too far? The latest research shows there's been an increase in sexualized images of children in the media, and that could potentially cause great harm to young people.
Everybody's looking at me now.
You don't have to look hard to find sexualized images of children in popular culture and advertising. A conference on children and the media has been told sexualized images of young people are taking a terrible toll.
We're seeing children engaging in disordered eating behaviour in primary schools, which is great concern. And we certainly have the impact of these images on desensitising children to sexualised behaviour and particularly aggressive behaviour.
Professor Louise Newman says the latest UK government research shows an increasing number of children worried about their body image, and they're becoming sexually active earlier as they're exposed to an unprecedented amount of sexualised images of children. She says kids under 8 don't understand the impact of these images.